back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be doing all things buttercream. So we're going to be filling, crumb coat, final coat, how to get a sharp edge, what I use for my buttercream, and just any tips and tricks that I have learned along the way and what I use for my cakes. Starting off with obviously buttercream. So for mine I use unsalted butter and just ice and sugar. It's a 2-to-1 ratio, so whatever you're going to be using for the butter, you're going to double it for the ice and sugar. So 250 grams of butter to 500 grams of ice and sugar. You want to soften your butter before you start, so just pop it in the microwave in short bursts just to soften it up. Then I normally whip the butter first on its own in the mixer for a few minutes just to soften it up. Then you want to add in your ice and sugar, and I normally find doing it on a slower setting for longer works better, that you get less air bubbles and things like that in it. So obviously I've made mine up already. I know that a lot of people tend to add a whitener to get a really nice white buttercream, and you can get Wilton whitener, which is one of the best ones. But to be honest, I normally find with the unsalted butter, if you whip that first for long enough, and then obviously once you've added your ice and sugar, it normally is a really nice white colour anyway. So to start off with, we'll just go over. So scrapers, mine is actually a wallpaper scraper, and I've had this since day dot. One of the things I'll show you later, to get a nice smooth finish, you need to have a metal scraper. Obviously palette knife as well, then obviously you've got your spatula. So let's get going. So you just want to take a small amount of buttercream and add it to the bowl. This is just to keep your cake from slipping about. Start with your first sponge. I've also gone back to my old trusty cake turntable so that it doesn't keep moving. Apply the buttercream with the palette knife and just move it all around so it's covering the whole cake. It's a bit of a backwards forwards technique that I use. I mean, I don't know if you'd call it a technique, but then when you feel like you've got enough buttercream, you're just going to take the palette knife, keeping it the same pressure the whole way around to get that nice flatness. Pressure on, you don't want to be taking too much of it, it's just to get a nice flat layer. I always just come down to eye level just to make sure that every bit is nice and straight, and just push it out if it's not, because the buttercream will move out, and straighten it up a bit more. And same again for this layer. just to make sure that it is definitely nice and flat and straight. So then crumb coat. So you want to get quite a bit of buttercream on your knife, and then you're just pushing it round. Same thing, that side to side, backwards, forwards action. The crumb coat is to keep all of the crumbs in, so it doesn't have to be perfect, but you just want to get enough on it so that it's covering it all. And then we lap it over a bit so that when it comes to doing the edge, you can pull it in and it'll give you that nice straightness. Alright, so when you think you've got enough on there, take the scraper. You want to make sure this is nice and straight to the edge of the cake, and then just pull it round. Same thing, feeding the turntable round as you go. And then when you feel like it's all nice and filled in around the sides and straight, just going to take our knife again. And you want to be at about a 45-degree angle with the knife and just start to pull it in. Towards yourself. It's a bit of a like flick up as you do it, just to keep that nice edge on it. And then I'm just going to take some more to go around the top. And the whole thing, trying to get it as even as possible, and then go round again. Bulge in the middle out if there is one. And then we're just going to go around again with the scraper. So now that you've got that overhang of buttercream on top, I know there's not a huge amount there, but sometimes what a lot of people will do is put it in the fridge now and then let it set hard, and then take a normal knife and cut it off afterwards, because then you can get a really nice sharp edge. But to be honest, this one, there isn't a huge amount, so I'm just going to do the same thing again, taking the knife at an angle. Just take off any excess around the edge. And then we have our crumb coat. So now I'm going to pop this in the fridge for about 30 to 45 minutes to let it harden up, and then we'll go on to our final coat. Once your cake has been in the fridge for long enough and it's set nice and firm, I normally take it out about 5 minutes before I want to add the final layer, just so that when you add the buttercream, it doesn't start to go hard as you're trying to do it and makes it hard to work with. So I've made up my buttercream the same as last time. You want to be adding a nice thick layer this time, so that we make sure you don't get any of the cake showing through. And then I'm just going to take my knife and just take, because there's quite a lot of excess on top, just start to take this away. And then you want to get quite a lot of buttercream for the top, because we want to make sure that we're going to get it nice and flat and straight. And a huge amount of pressure, just a little bit, and keep feeding it around. And go around again with the scraper, very lightly. And even. And then I'm just going to remove the excess buttercream off the board again. And then when I feel like I'm happy with the overall shape, consistency and finish, the last thing that I do is take my scraper and I'm just going to run it under a boiling hot tap. So you want to get it as hot as you can to then take it around with your fine blade to get you that really nice smooth finish. So now that you've run it under your hot tap to make sure it's nice and heated up, you then want to wipe obviously the excess water off and then just slowly take it round, just to give us that real nice clean finish. And then once I've done that, I'm just going to do the same with my palette knife to get these edges nice and sharp. It's much easier when it's heated up, it does really make a difference. Just going to cut a little bit. And there we go, all done. So now I'll pop this back in the fridge again to let it set, and then I would go on to doing my drip or however you're going to decorate it. But yeah, that's all things buttercream. Thanks for watching, and if anyone has any questions about things that I haven't covered or just things that you want to know, just head over to my Instagram. It's @CakeTheirDay, and just send me a message.